You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. By going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com, you can make this possible. All right, folks, Virginia Governor Ralph Northam continues to have major issues when it comes to the Blackface scandal. Today, the university, of course, where he went to school, the law firm released this report that was pretty funny that detailed what happened. Eastern Virginia Medical School released this report saying they cannot conclusively determine that it was actually Ralph Northam on those photos, which is weird because he actually admitted to it, and then he came and said, well, he wasn't so sure. So what the hell are we supposed to believe? All right, so here's some of the video from that news conference today, which was actually kind of weird.
Mr. President, quick question. James Gordon with the NAACP in Portsmouth. We had a conversation in February, you and I. And I said to you then, I said for the community to have some trust in what's going to happen here, that we had to make sure that it was independent of EVMS and of Ralph Northam. And this is not an issue about politics. This is an issue of a governor of a state in America being seen in a KKK group. And he came out and apologized. Now, after political pressure, we can argue whether or not he now wants to say whether it was a mistake or not. But he came out and he admitted to me and to several other people that was him in that photograph. And it sounds like McGuire Woods is the attorneys for Ralph as opposed to investigators to try to get to the bottom of what happened. Going back to the independence, did EVMS pay McGuire Woods to do this investigation?
The answer to your question, yes, we did. We did pay McGuire Woods. It was a independent review. I received the report yesterday at noon for the first time. They had full access to whomever they wanted to speak to, wherever their leads led them to, and develop their own independent conclusions. My focus for this investigation was more focused on the academic culture at the time so that we could ensure that we would not repeat the mistakes of the past administratively as part of EVMS. Notwithstanding that, McGuire Woods had full opportunity and authority to be able to investigate whatever they wanted to do, and they proceeded with the investigation of the photograph in more detail. And I have to refer back to them since they conducted that, and I have to assume that it was done in an objective and thorough fashion.
Are we supposed to actually believe they could not determine who was in the photo? How they get on the page? Joining us right now is James Boyd, the Portsmouth NAACP. He was the one asking those questions. James, it's still sort of weird. It cannot ascertain who was actually on the photo. How does it get on the page? Come on. It was Ralph Northam.
Exactly, Roland. Let me first say this: it's an honor to be on your show and all the work that you've done in civil rights over the years. I'm honored to be a part of the show. Let me say what happened today was a PR campaign orchestrated by Ralph Northam, EVMS, and McGuire Woods to try to reconstruct Ralph Northam's image so that he can justify remaining being governor of Virginia. That's what happened here today. This was not an investigation. This was an orchestrated hit by those who wield power in Virginia to try to save Ralph Northam from his image problem. That's exactly what happened here today. And again, he admitted to the nation, Roland, that he was in those photos. He admitted it. He came out. He called, as I said earlier today, he called civil rights leaders around the state and said that that was him and that he had an issue with judgment. But now all of a sudden he wants to come out and say it wasn't him. And McGuire Woods, in essence, tried to pardon him so that he can continue to serve as governor. Every Virginian, every person around this country that's concerned about civil rights and equality and racial sensitivity should be appalled by that press conference today.
And that's actually, I think, what jumps out. On one hand, he says, it was me. And now, oh, it wasn't me. And we really don't know how it got on the page. And then we also know that the last couple of presidents of the school were donors to his campaign.
Exactly. Exactly. And then not only that, we know, and we said this in a statement, the Portsmouth NAACP, that we were concerned about McGuire Woods doing the investigation anyway. Robert Cullen, who was the investigator for the case, has ties to Senator Allen, who had the Macaca statement. And we made that clear to EVMS. And also, McGuire Woods is the attorney for Dominion Energy that has direct connection with Ralph Northam. And we cannot separate the connection that EVMS has, because here's the issue, Roland. Ralph Northam's downfall is EVMS's downfall. They know that, and so they tried to orchestrate this thing to try to save him and to try to save EVMS. That's what happened here today in that press conference.
So
But
what's
that,
next?
no doubt, was him. He admitted, and I guess you have to be the governor of Virginia, Roland, to be able to admit that you were guilty, and then you get to take it back. I wish that some black folks in this country had that ability in the criminal justice system, but I guess you got to be a governor of Virginia and put out racist photos in order to have that kind of privilege in America.
So again, what's next for you? What's next for Ralph Northam?
I think, again, based on what our CEO has said, the NAACP, we believe that Ralph Northam should resign. If he's truly apologetic and wants to heal Virginia, he would move out of the way to allow the government and allow the state to heal. Another part of this orchestrated plan, Roland, was not only did Ralph Northam is trying to do this apology tour, and again, I would say, if you didn't do anything, why are you on an apology tour? But now that they're continuing trying to attack the black lieutenant governor of Virginia, Justin Fairfax, to give people some pause in terms of calling for his removal. But in terms of the NAACP, we maintain our calls for his removal. And also, we think now that there needs to be a true independent investigation into EVMS and the image around Ralph Northam. So we're going to continue to push for that investigation to happen.
All right, James Boyd, I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
All right, I want to bring in my panel. A. Scott Bolden, of course. He is the former chair, National Bar Association Political Action Committee. Michael Brown, former vice chair, DNC Finance Committee. Dr. Niambe Carter, Howard University, Department of Political Science. All right, I'm going to start with you, Niambe. Mm-hmm. All right, Ralph Northam is not resigning. He did admit it was him. Now he says it's not him. What does this do for him? Frankly, I think what it does is it keeps showing that Virginia being a laughingstock.
Well, for sure. I mean, he gets to hold on to his job in the meantime. I think that had always been his plan, which was to wait it out and see what was going to happen. I don't know who takes a picture of another person in blackface in a Ku Klux Klan uniform and puts it on their yearbook page for medical school for giggles. So I think this was his plan all along. He wanted to stay the governor, and he was going to stay the course. There's no crime here. It's distasteful. It's unethical, and I think it's a slap in the face of the people of Virginia that he represents. But this is what he planned to do all along. He had already said when this all came out, when he first apologized, that he had no intention of leaving that job. And I think this gives him enough deniability, if you will, to continue to say he can represent the people of Virginia in a fair and even-handed manner. I don't think the people of Virginia believe that, but for sure, that's what he's suggesting by staying in that job.
All right, Scott Bolden.
Well, I don't think it changes the game at all. I'm not sure we even needed an investigation to determine whether the governor was in the photo or not. He said he did. He was, and then he denied it. And then he said, but I have worn blackface before, and I've done all these other things. And so I'm not sure that should be the subject of an investigation. The inconclusiveness doesn't change anything. If you ask me whether the governor is a racist and whether he's been in blackface and made fun of black people and offended them and been oppressive of them in his younger days, the answer is yes. I don't think that's going to change anything with the voters of Virginia, Republicans or Democrats. And then lastly, this doesn't change anything in regard to him being a deeply wounded governor. He can move around the state, I guess. He can go through the motions of being governor and do what he's supposed to do. But the reality is he's deeply wounded politically. You only have one term in Virginia, and then you move on. So it's not like this is a re-election issue. And so I think he's part of the walking, wounded, politically dead. And we just need to get him out of office either by term, if you will. And it does say that he will finish the term.
Mike Brown.
Roland, not much to add. I think I have to co-sign with what the doctor said, what Scott said. He should have been gone a long time ago. Clearly, the needle has not moved. It's not going to move. And as Scott just mentioned, even if this, let's say it's not his picture, he still said he did it about Michael Jackson. So,
Right.
I mean, I don't even know where we go, what the whole point of this was. He should resign and move on.
Well, Michael, I think what they were really trying to do was say that the medical school, they didn't want this to go on at the medical school, and how could this go on at the medical school in the 80s? And so that's where they tried to focus their attention. They actually interviewed a lot of people, but none of them could say conclusively. The only one that said conclusively it was him was the governor, and then he backed away. So we got our answer. We just, his supporters just don't like that answer.
In Atlanta, for our school choice is the Black Choice Town Hall event. There was an elementary school in Atlanta, folks. This is a black elementary school. 5% of the school students were reading on grade level. I'm gonna repeat that. In Atlanta, 5% of the children were reading on grade level. So you then have to ask the question, what's gonna happen when they're in middle school? What's going to happen when they are in high school? Will they ever be able to catch up? Will they be consigned for the entire life of being behind?